YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, and okay, so I didn't put anything up on Twitter. I just wanted to play the vampires. I haven't done a lot of vampires in the game, really, honestly, because in patch 1 they were pretty OP. At least it seemed like they were. So I didn't play them a whole lot, and I haven't given the vampires a whole lot of love in terms of using them a bunch in online battles, so I wanted to go ahead and do a focus in on the vampires. I'll say it's a week, but as you all saw with Beastmen, a week can easily turn longer. So I'm going to be going up against the Bloody Hand. Bloody Hand, I expected Wurzag and I expected Effigy to get. So what I did was I brought Manfred up on a flying mount. You can see him way back out in the background. Wurzag dancing the day away. Yeah, so I brought him on a flying mount, and my intention is not to bring him to the ground, because obviously what Wurzag is going to thrive on is getting one of your units stuck on the ground, and then keeping it still, and then pounding it. So I didn't bring any hero characters for him to do that to, except for Manfred, and I don't intend to bring Manfred down very easily where he can get a hold of him. So that was going to be my counter. I've got 3 skeleton warriors down the center, and then I've got 2 graveguard in the center, the Sternsman over here, 1 more graveguard on this flank, and then 1 more skeleton on each flank, and I'm rocking 2 blood knights out here on the flank. So pretty cav heavy. It's a very expensive investment into the blood knights at this point. So let's just see what's going to happen here. Let's just see. So his infantry is, he does have a couple of these night goblins. There's 2 of them. Not a real sound choice versus the vampires, I don't think. It does add poison, but they're just so rickety. Like, I don't see night goblins lasting any amount of time in a fight versus vampires. He's got a black orc and a big one over here to try and block Manfred and the blood knights. I'm going to go ahead and take the infantry engagement. I feel pretty good about it. He's unleashing his oh crap, I can Doom Diver catapult. So yeah, my big uns are going to get in here, and they're going to be supported by skeleton warriors, which is going to make it pretty good for them. See the night goblins just instantly getting shredded. The giant is the only real threat I have on the battlefield at the moment. My graveguard are going to eat through most of the infantry except for his 2 black orcs. So I figure I'll deal with his black orcs as I get the chance. I'm going to run around the flank with the Sternsman, because there was an opportunity to do so. I overlapped his lines, so I'm going to push the Sternsman around. I brought Manfred back here, and here he uses Effigy to get. But I'm so far away from him that it's going to do a lot of damage, but he doesn't have any follow-up units. Look at that foot of Gork right there, destroying a bunch of my Blood Knights, so great play. He got rid of a ton of Blood Knights there. But he didn't get rid of all of them, which is unfortunate for him. It didn't shatter that unit. It is crumbling, though. Put a quick charge on the Black Orcs. Didn't expect a victory there, just wanted to do some damage. This flank right here is where I'm going to be the most successful because of these Sternsmen and the Horrors and everything else, but in the center we've done decently as well. And I'm going to go ahead and finish off his Doom Diver catapults. So I'm going to bring in the Blood Knights because he's got no protection against this. I'll help out Manfred since he can't keep these guys busy. And then I'm going to bring this Blood Knight over here, and I'm going to rescue it. It got smushed by a foot of Gork, but 'tis the magic of the Necromancer to be able to bring back your vampiric army. So Manfred's going to be back here. He's now back up in the air. Effigy to get has been used, so Wurzag shouldn't have access to it for a while. So I'm going to pull this Blood Knight up and pop an Invocation into Heck. Sternsman here is pretty healthy and in good shape. You see, otherwise, I mean, the Black Orcs do really well against all the infantry I'm going to bring, and that's expected. But I've been able to get some other victories. So here comes the Invocation to Heck, so jumping up a lot of hit points. Should be picking up a few unit models slowly over time, too, for my Blood Knights. We'll see if it actually counts up on their unit models at any point. I'm going to go ahead and give the Giant a charge. I need to get him off the battlefield, and I've done very little damage to him so far. Blood Knights can do a lot of damage to a Giant. You can see him trying to get away from my Blood Knights and substitute with a Black Orc, which is certainly a understandable play for him. So the one Blood Knight that was basically dead is back, and now I'm going to do some hit and run. Now that I know that Effigy to get is not currently available, I'm going to go ahead and do some hit and run attacks with Manfred on Wurzag, because I know that Wurzag is weak to this. So you can see that I charge, and then I'm going to be getting back out of combat through my own Graveguard here. That gives me the safety I need to do this. And I've left my Blood Knights in to just do some fighting against the giant. They've done well. But like I said, my focus at the moment is going to be Wurzag, the Dancing Green Prophet here. Manfred's looking pretty safe. I'm going to drop an Invocation of Nahak on my men. At least I think I'm about to. Yep. So had Manfred do that, and then I can refocus on Wurzag, who's looking pretty weak at the moment. And here comes von Karstein swinging back and around, missing the Dancing Prophet, who's now running off into the distance. We scored a hit there. Manfred's going to kill the Prophet. And then my Blood Knights are actually just getting healthier over time due to the Invocation and the Heck, and they're going to be able to tear down the Giant. He still has his Black Orcs, but I have a pretty healthy Sternsman here that would help keep them busy. My opponent admits defeat because of the loss of his leader, and he was losing his Goblin Big Boss over there too. Wasn't necessarily over because the Black Orcs and the Giants could still dish a lot of damage, but with all the units I had here, it probably was pretty much done. So this army here, I think, as I think about it, I misused one of my Blood Knights a little bit, but it kept it alive, just using the vampiric magic there. The goal of this army was just to try and overwhelm the Greenskins with a lot of infantry, a whole lot of infantry. And I think that when he brought these Doom Divers, that kind of played right into my hand, rather than him spending that money on more infantry. And then there was no cavalry to even slow down my Blood Knights. So, the Orc Cavalry, not really a great match for the Blood Knights, but he needs to have some way to deal with it. And if anything, it would just mean get rid of these Doom Divers and maybe bring more Biggins. The Greenskins do suffer a little bit versus the Vampires, because the Vampires are kind of a blight on leadership, and the Greenskins do not have great leadership. They definitely can fight against the Vampires, and they can be successful, but you got to be careful if you get yourself into a situation where the Vampires can start tinkering with your leadership or take out key units. You're going to find yourself in trouble really, really quick. Just a couple of key units that played a role in that battle, and let's just talk about them a little bit. So the Blood Knights, we're all pretty familiar with these guys. Good armor, very hefty charge on Blood Knights. They took a little bit of a nerf in the last patch, which is probably okay. They're still ridiculously good. They took a nerf on a few stats, but Frenzy actually got better in the last patch. So I still find the Blood Knights to be every bit as potent as they were before. And definitely a solid unit for a vampire army. Sternsmen, I find these guys, even though they don't have armor piercing, they just tend to be a good unit. At least I think they're a good unit. They have an 8 bonus versus infantry. They just do well because of their regeneration and the charge defense against all. They're a good, solid, tough unit for the price. But yeah, anyway, that's just a couple of the units I use there. Cryptors, no need introducing these guys. The armor piercing, poison attacks, these guys are and always have been a great bargain if used properly. Anyway, that's it for this vampire battle. I'll be back with more vampire battles. Hope you all enjoyed it. HeirofCarthage, signing out.